We want to go live to the NFL Combine via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network. He's entering his 7th season as the Cardinals GM. Steve Keim started as a scout, was an all-ACC guard, and Steve is joining us. I said, Steve, about 5 minutes ago that I can feel, first of all, I think your division now is the toughest in football. I think you have excellent coaches everywhere. You've got Russell Wilson, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jared Goff, established quarterback talents. Do you feel, Steve, some of the pressure outside that is being pushed on your organization and you specifically?
Oh, I mean, I think that no more, Colin, than the pressure that I put on myself every day as a perfectionist. But, I mean, I think it comes with the territory. I think it's something that, you know, your fans don't want to hear, that you're going through a rebuilding phase. Each and every day you got to continue to put a better product on the field, and you're held accountable for it. And that's what this job's all about. So I'm excited about this opportunity. I'm excited about our new coaching staff, really excited about some of the pieces we have in place, some of the acquisitions we've made this offseason, and I think that we'll continue that through free agency and the draft.
I've always had a theory on the draft that outside of maybe an Andrew Luck or a John Elway, I would always trade my number 1 pick to get multiple picks. Generally, a team's at number 1 because they got a little rebuilding to do, more good players than one maybe star player. Do you share any of that philosophy that if somebody walked up to you today, Steve, and gave you 4 picks for your 1, would you consider it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any question. And the more picks you can acquire, obviously, the more chances you have to hit. We all know this is an inexact science, and it really comes down to once you build your board and you feel comfortable with the vertical part of your board being ranked 1 through 120, it gives you a better visual and an understanding, Colin, of where you feel comfortable trading back to, where do you still get the right amount of impact with the addition of picks that you've gotten as well. So to me, it's a part of the process. We have 57 days to fix it, to figure it out, and it's extremely exciting because, again, there's a number of different ways we can go, and having the first pick in the draft is something that last year, obviously, I didn't want to be a part of, but as we head into the draft this spring, it's extremely exciting.
About an hour ago or 2 hours ago, I was here in Los Angeles. I saw a quote from you, and people asked you about, Kyler Murray and Kliff Kingsbury and number 1 pick and Josh Rosen, and you said Josh Rosen's our guy for now. Now, of course, the media is going to jump on that and go, oh, for now. How do you respond to the people who are going to write headlines and say, hey, Steve, for now, doesn't sound long-term with Josh?
Well, I mean, this is the season for misinformation, so it's a fun part of the process to go through this spring and to hear all the conversation about the first pick. It certainly shows the level of excitement for the National Football League and for our organization. So to me, there's going to be a number of things written. Josh Rosen did a fantastic job for the circumstances he was put in last year, and he was really put in a tough spot, Colin, when you look at the first 7 offensive linemen that we had were all on IR by the end of the season. We didn't have a lot of perimeter talent to throw the football to, and he was going through growing pains. But to me, I thought he did a fantastic job showing me the mental toughness and the physical toughness that it takes to excel at that position.
Could I not, though, Steve, make an argument that the number 1 issue with your team is probably offensive line? Rosen is not he's not a mover and shaker athletically. He's a pocket guy, and the way to solve both of those quickly is with a more agile, mobile quarterback, and Kyler Murray fits that. I could make that argument, no?
Well, I mean, I think that's certainly something you can argue. But again, the one thing that some of these quarterbacks possess that maybe Josh doesn't would be the ability to extend plays. My argument would be, let's try to eliminate having to extend those plays. To me, it's improvising. If we can put a system in place that puts Josh in the right situation to feel comfortable, get the ball out of his hands quickly. Guys like Brady and Breeze and the guys who are having success around the NFL, Peyton Manning in the past, those guys get the ball out extremely quick. They know how to process and see the field. And to me, that's where Josh Rosen can really hurt you, is spinning the football and putting him in an accurate place.
Kliff Kingsbury did not have NFL experience. When you made the hire, I said, are we going crazy? Anybody that's ever had a cup of coffee with Sean McVay now is a candidate. Take me through the thought process of Kliff Kingsbury. of, the difference between college and the NFL, it maybe isn't the gap of college basketball and the NBA, but it's still a gap in coaching. What was the epiphany or the moment you decided to go with this young coach?
Well, I think we went through a long process, and Michael Bidwell and I spent a lot of time on it. We did our research, and to me, we could have gone for another offensive coach that was already in the National Football League, that didn't have a lot of experience calling plays. The one thing you can say about Kliff Kingsbury is he's called plays for 8 years, and he's done it at a high level. I think there were only 2 years of his 8 where he was in college football where he had less than 500 yards per game average, which is unbelievable. Not only that, is he's done a fantastic job developing quarterbacks of all kinds. People from Case Keenum to Patrick Mahomes to Johnny Football. He has done a lot of good things with different style quarterbacks. To me, he puts guys in a position to succeed and to cater to their strengths. So there were a number of things that really excited us about Kliff, aside from just the swag and the confidence that he has. And we knew that regardless of which coach we put in place, we would have to surround them with a quality coaching staff. And to me, you start and you look up front with Sean Kugler, one of the better offensive line coaches in the National Football League, and Vance Joseph, who, had a tough stretch at the Denver Broncos as the head coach, but has a great past career as a defensive coach under Wade Phillips, and did a nice job in Miami as their defensive coordinator. So we have a lot of guys with experience that he can certainly lean on, but there's no doubt in my mind that Kliff can be very innovative and creative as our offensive play caller.
If you made your mind up yet on what you're going to do with the number 1 pick, do you know what you're going to do with it?
No. I mean, there are 57 days for us to put a plan in place. This part of the process is extremely critical because we have a chance for the first time to get to know these players as people, which I've said many times over and over. It's the most important part of the process. We come away from Indy with the medical information, and we get to know the person, which, again, to me is all about what makes these guys great pros. We can see the athleticism and the skill set on tape. What you can't judge is the heart and the mind, and this is an opportunity for us to dig.
Have you been called yet about the number 1 pick by another team or teams?
I have not yet, but I'm sure that will pick up here shortly.
Would you call out? Would you initiate the contact eventually?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. And I have to ask you point blank. Is there a possibility that you could see yourself picking a quarterback at 1?
I can't foresee that right now. Again, we know that this is a process we have to go through. And again, I think that what Josh showed us last year on and off the field makes me extremely comfortable that he's our quarterback moving forward.
Steve Keim, Cardinal GM, Executive of the Year 4 years ago. This is a tough league. His division now has become rough. Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, Jared Goff, Sean McVay, Jimmy G and Kyle Shanahan. And Arizona's trying a little bit of a rebuild, not completely, because there are some parts there we like. And Steve, we appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks, Colin. Always great to be on.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.